Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, ladies.
Hi, Kerra. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How are you ladies doing today?
We are doing well.
Fantastic.
Awesome. I love to hear it. So good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. Today, we are celebrating the 3-year anniversary, the evolution of our brand, Caribbean Women's Power Lunch, now known as Caribbean Women's Network. I created this platform to connect, empower, and celebrate Caribbean women, and that is exactly what we will be doing today. I am honored to be sharing a space with these 3 beautiful women, Kandi King, Leah Marville, and Dr. Shelly-Ann Gajadhar. Again, thank you, ladies, for joining us. My name is Kerra Denel. So thank you all. I see everyone is in the comments already. Good evening, good evening. Make sure you guys share the feed, share the YouTube link, tell everybody they need to be over here right now. This is the place to be, the only place to be on a Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. So ladies, welcome. I would love for you guys to share just a little bit about yourselves before we get right into this. We can start off with Kandi at the top.
All right. Hi, everybody. And hi again, Kerra. My name is Kandi King. I am, I would say, a serial entrepreneur. I started out with Carnival by Kandi. That's my Carnival concierge service. And I have kind of stuck with that whole Carnival theme. Since then, I have been appointed director at Jamaica International. And most recently, I have started a Carnival accessories line that's Stocking by Kandi. And finally, in January, I welcomed a baby girl, Cora. So I'm also a new mom. And I am very excited to be here to tell you guys about my journey in Bloom.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Dr. Shelly-Ann Gajadhar.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Greetings and welcome to this space. Thank you so much for attending. My name is Dr. Shelly-Ann Gajadhar. I am a Trinbagonian woman and I'm currently residing in London. My career, I would say, is a little bit of like a professional unicorn. I have a background in law, but at the moment, I also am a performance coach and an educator. I recently completed my doctorate at King's College London, and I am in this space of ensuring that others go bravely in their careers and in their pursuits.
Love it. And the beautiful Leah Marville.
Hi, guys. Hi. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kerra, for having this. My name is Leah Marville. I'm originally from Barbados. I am currently living in Los Angeles, and I'm here as a model. I'm a podcast host and a life design coach, and I am the founder of Life and Lemonade TV. Former attorney at law, former Miss Barbados World, former franchise owner of Miss Barbados World as well, entrepreneur, and the list goes on. Yeah, and I am excited to share this space with these beautiful ladies in excellence.
we have some serious powerhouses on this panel. Okay, I'm just looking around and I'm like, this is what Caribbean excellence really looks like. So again, thank you so much, ladies, for joining me here today. And again, welcome to everyone who's now tuning in. This is Her in Bloom. We're celebrating our 3-year anniversary for Caribbean Women's Network, and we are just chatting with some amazing Caribbean ladies. So without further ado, I would like to bring to the virtual stage Miss Leah Marville. She will be speaking to us about self-awareness as a woman, shaping boundaries and establishing discipline. I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about this. Leah, the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you. So, Kara asked me to share my truth in, coming to self-awareness, finding discipline, finding yourself, self-mastery. And it is the reason behind starting Life and Lemonade TV, which our slogan is "Your lemons are your secret sauce." And the reason that slogan even came to exist is because, you know, you take lemons and you turn them into lemonade. But for me personally, I was able to look back at my life. In hindsight, I had 15 years of a career. I touched on so many things. I started my career as a lawyer. I went into modeling. I became Miss Barbados. I traveled the world as a tourism ambassador, as well as Miss Barbados for Barbados. And I went on to be a TV presenter. Then I had a tourism company, and that evolved into so many different things, a philanthropist. And then I finally landed in Trinidad and Tobago, practicing as a lawyer for 7 years. I started in criminal, passed through family, and then I ended up in corporate and entertainment. But it came to a point where I felt like I had hit a ceiling of what I could achieve. And I was doing so many things. I had lived in Jamaica, I lived in Trinidad, I had lived in South Africa, and I'd done so many things, right? Which in hindsight left me with a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of resources, a wealth of um, skills, but I was not fulfilled. And that was because I was disconnected from God and purpose, right? And so I started on this journey of reconnecting with myself and building self awareness, focusing on self mastery. And that led me to living in Los Angeles now, where I lead a very intentional life. And I started Life and Lemonade TV so that I could share my journey with people, and so that women predominantly can learn about themselves, connect to spirit, find their purpose, design their lives, and find fulfillment. And I stumbled across, I should say, well, learning lemons are your secret sauce is because I went through my life and looked at everything that I was able to overcome, everything that I was able to achieve. And I examined every aspect of my life as a clue to who I am meant to be on this planet. Who I am and not necessarily what I do. And it's been an extremely beautiful journey. Life and Lemonade TV has flourished into a podcast where we share other people's stories, as well as we have a reading corner where we share resources. We have a vision book where we help people tap into their vision as well. And at the end of this year, we are going to be launching our coaching. So it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey. I think along the way, I really came to understand that, life has to be a beautiful harmony of being and doing, work-life balance, spiritual connectedness, but also, action and performance in the world. And I felt, I feel so much more purposed in what I do now that I'm connected to my spirituality, now that I am in tune with, what my unique path is in this world. I found that when I connected to heart and spirit, that it was like a light unto my feet. And that light just guides my life now. And, you know, it takes me places and it invites uniquely what is for me. And so I'm happy to, I encourage people to find their own light, to label it, and then stand upright in it. And yeah, I think that is a great synopsis of what, self mastery, the journey of self mastery has been for me.
Thank you so much, Leah. I love that. Find your light and stand in your light. And looking at you right now, you've definitely found the light because we see you glowing. I know everybody is seeing the same thing I'm seeing. We are seeing
Thank
you
you.
glowing from inside to outside. So I
Inside,
absolutely,
outside.
yes, I love that. Before we move on to the next speaker, I actually have a very special message that I'm going to share with the ladies, those of you who are watching.
Yo, this is yours truly, Jazzy T from the world-renowned Renaissance Disco, Kingston, Jamaica. And right now, I want to big up the Caribbean Women's Network. Caribbean Women's Network. Big up Kerra. You understand me? Big up yourself for doing this. Now, I want to big up every woman in the world. Big up my mom, big up every mother out there, right? And even if you're not a mother, big up same way. Every woman is very important on earth, and we all need to understand that women sometimes get real emotional and stuff like that. And you know, women will be women, but on earth, women are really important. They gave birth to the nation. So I want to big up every woman out there. Strong, no matter where you are, you're a strong woman, you're beautiful inside and out. Every woman, big up yourself. You're truly Jazzy T say, yo, we love woman. We love the woman. We love, no matter what age, you're still a woman, love. And big up every woman that gave birth to daughters who's growing up to be a woman. Big up every woman. Yours truly, Jazzy T, say Caribbean Women's Network. Third anniversary. Big up yourself. Bless.
His energy, though. Yeah, so Jazzy T from Jamaica representing, sending love to the beautiful ladies that are watching right now, and of course, my beautiful panel. Next up, we have Miss Kandi King. She will be blessing us and speaking on following your intuition and following faith, more importantly. So, Kandi, the floor is yours.
All right. So hi again, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. So I'm basically just going to take you on a journey from my personal journey from entrepreneur to like motherhood. And I'll just leave you with all the little nuggets that have stuck with me along the way. So I started my career in corporate Jamaica. Important to note that I had never seen myself as an entrepreneur. I saw myself ascending the corporate ladder when I started out. So I got a really good corporate job that I was very excited about. And my entire life, I wanted to go to Trinidad Carnival. I mean, Trinidad is the Mecca. It is the carnival. And since I had a really good corporate job, I saved up my money and I could afford to go. So I went. And the following year, a couple of people would have reached out and said, hey, since you went last year, can you help me to go this year? And I did that. And then the year after that, I got even more people doing the same thing. And I was like, no, I'm going to be charging for this now because ain't no way this is going to be free. Plus, it's a lot of work. So that year, I started charging for and advertising for a concierge service called Carnival by Kandi. And it did really well. And it grew in popularity. I still had my corporate job, and I never ever intended for Carnival by Kandi to be a standalone business. I thought to myself, if I could keep my corporate job and this supplemental income, then this would be great. This is like a great side hustle. So everything was going well until my job made me redundant. And when my job made me redundant, I was like, well, this is just going to have to work. And so my entrepreneurial journey was born completely organically. I did not intend for it to be this way, but it just happened. And thank God I have not had to go back into corporate since then. I think I tried once, but I tried not because I had to, but because I got a really good offer that I couldn't refuse at one point, and I tried and it was just a fail. So there's no way you can leave this life and go back into corporate. Well, for me anyway, the freedom is just unmatched. So that was Carnival by Kandi. It started to, I would say, gain popularity, and I also started to gain popularity around that time as well. The first thing that I will tell you is that I followed my intuition and I kind of winged it. I think following intuition is kind of like a nice phrase for winging it, because that's exactly what I did. I did not have a business plan. I'm not saying don't do one. I'm just saying I did not have one. And I had a mentor though, and that is what helped me to structure my business as I went along, and I just learned on the go. I did not have any other kind of plan written anywhere, but that's just me. That's just me. So the first thing is that when I was made redundant from my job, I was devastated. And looking back now, I guess you can't see it, but when you fall down, there's usually it's a setup for a comeback. And I couldn't see it then, but my how my life has turned out and the trajectory that I'm currently on is all because I was made redundant from my job. So sometimes you can't see what's going to happen, but just kind of trust the process. That's my first little nugget that I learned. The second thing I would say is after Carnival by Kandi started gaining in popularity, I would say this part of my life now is like the peak of my life. Everything was going well. I got invited to with Start Jamaica International, which was a great opportunity. And that has been tremendously successful in itself, in its own right. I did an event called Babe Brunch, all of these things. And it would seem from the outside that everything was so successful. I mean, even places that my parents went, they would get, "Mom, you must be so proud of Kandi. She's doing so well." I am here to tell you that that entire period was the most unprofitable time of my life. The most unprofitable time. So the second little nugget that I learned is to never really judge a book by its cover, because you just don't know. Social media is a lie. I was always in the media. I was always talking about Carnival. I guess I'm just an easy target because I sit on a team with all men, and they would, anytime there was a media opportunity, it would just be me. And that's just the way the cookie crumbled here. And so I just kind of became the face of the brand and the face of Carnival in Jamaica, organically as well. Not because I really intended to, but it just happened that way. But like I said, it looked so glamorous, but on the back end, it really kind of wasn't. Fast forward now to the stockings. So I'm going to transition into the accessories. I got this idea after coming from one of the Trinidad carnivals and seeing the stocking band in every single picture. And it was just such an eyesore for me. And I got this idea to do, why can't the stockings just come the way the costumes are coming with the V-band? And I spoke to a couple people, and a whole heap of people said it would not work. I even started reaching out to a few suppliers and stocking suppliers internationally, and they were like, it won't stay up. I got a whole lot of no's. I even reached out to my friends personally, and nobody was really taken by the idea. It just kind of sounded like nobody really cared. I pursued it though because I really strongly believed that it could work. So I finally found a supplier who told me yes, they'd be willing to make a sample for me. And the stockings have been my most profitable thing to date. My advice to people who ask me about my career and my journey is really, follow your intuition, but find a product. The service, Carnival by Kandi is great. It was working. It still works, but it wasn't making me wealthy. And it's also a whole lot of work, and service-based things tend to be a lot of work. There's a lot of logistics involved. Also, Carnival masqueraders are not the easiest people to deal with, so it's a whole lot of stress. And I will still be doing those things. I've learned to delegate a little bit more, though. That's another important nugget. But finding a product, I think, has really been my calling so far. And these stockings are in every major carnival now, every single one. They are in such a high demand that I can't even keep up with the demand. The next thing is this pandemic. This is just a challenge. It's not my fault. I have to keep reminding myself. But the pandemic has really knocked me off my feet because I have all of my eggs in the carnival basket. And this has been the greatest challenge of my life. On top of everything, I got pregnant. I wasn't surprised. I was kind of surprised, if you know what I mean. So, and pregnant in the pandemic and then the baby, it hasn't been the easiest journey at all, especially with the loss of income from the pandemic. I am still navigating this part. I don't have all the answers. I know that however low my low was, I know my high will be even higher. So I'm really looking forward to the high. I hope God and the universe and everybody's listening, because I need this high to be really high. But I will also say now, navigating motherhood has been incredibly difficult. Motherhood is messy. It is challenging. I feel like every single day, I feel like I'm winging it every single day. I thank God for the internet, because without it, I don't know how our parents or even generations before would have done this without those resources, because it's been so helpful for me. But even so, nobody has ever written a book about Chorus, you know? So I am dealing with my baby. Her name is Chorus, by the way. And I have to be figuring things out all the time. I'm happy that I have such a supportive partner, but it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And so I'm trying to really figure out the best way to continue this journey, following my intuition, but balancing all the various things that I now have on my plate and coming out of the pandemic. So that part, I will admittedly say that I haven't figured out the best balance as yet, especially going into motherhood, right, or navigating motherhood right now. I haven't figured that part out, and I'm still actively working on being the best version of myself. I heard Leah talk about, how life-changing it has been for her to really connect with her spirituality and really chart that path. But I don't really feel like I have figured that part out for me personally just yet. So I'm still trying to figure that part out. But this journey that I'm on from entrepreneurship, I mean, I really feel like I was like a party girl. I was in the peak of my career, and now motherhood really humbles you. It really, really humbles you. You no longer feel cute. I can tell you that. I no longer feel like, I can literally call her King Kandi all the time. I don't feel like her anymore. I feel like I have to find a new identity because I'm not that person anymore. And so I'm still trying to figure out that part. But I do know one thing is for sure, that the trajectory that I am on, I'm going places. And I believe that for myself. And I believe that if I continue to follow all of the things that I have in my heart for this niche market that I control, that I can really get the best out of life. So that's me in a nutshell, and my story in bloom as I continue to bloom.
I absolutely love your honesty and appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is as real as it can get. And I definitely feel as though you were able to connect with a lot of people in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of hearts and hugs and stuff in here. So thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing your honesty. We have another special message for the beautiful ladies before we go to our next speaker. So I will share that with you all here.
Caribbean Women's Network. What's going on? Puffy here, saying happy 3rd anniversary and sending you love, strength, light, and most importantly, thanks to all the women watching this right now. If you can hear my voice, I want to say thank you for all the burdens that you've carried for us and more. You understand? A lot of you may know that I am extremely close to my mom. She is, the light in my life. She's the rock, the anchor. She's the reason why I am the person I am today. Even, up to 5 minutes ago, I was on the phone with her. So I just want to say or acknowledge what you have been through and the things that you need to go through in order to be that for people like me, for us, for Caribbean societies, for your families, for your peers. That is so important, and I feel like a lot of us do not acknowledge and celebrate you for that. So we need to take that time to do this for you right now. You understand? Good. So to Kerra, much love. Hey Leah, how you doing? Hope you all have a fantastic evening. And once again, happy 3rd anniversary. Much love coming out from Puffy right here. All right? Later.
I love the love from the boys. It's beautiful. So next up, we have Dr. Shelly-Ann Gajadhar, and she will be sharing with us her mantra, go bravely, and so much more. Thank you again, Shelly, for being here.
Yes, thank you so much. And I just want to like really commend my Caribbean sisters that went before me for their honesty and for your bravery and your truth. I think in this Caribbean space of demonstrating excellence and reflecting our own journeys, I think more truth is needed in the space. So it was so deeply refreshing to see my sisters stand in their power. Now, for me, my journey has been one that has been very colorful, and it has been one that hasn't necessarily been planned. A lot of things happened very unexpectedly for me, and it really encouraged me and propelled me into recreating myself. Now, I come from a background of law, so Leah is my colleague, my legal colleague. Both her and I would have done law school together. And I spent 4 years as a state prosecutor in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, as a state prosecutor in the Caribbean, let's be honest, we have a crime situation that we are struggling as a region to get under control. And in Trinidad and Tobago, it is a situation that is really something that we need to spend a little bit more time on, especially when it comes to society and the management of how we go about law enforcement. So in that 4 year period, I was predominantly prosecuting murders. And I did that because it was my dream job. It was what I really wanted to do. It was the thing that really woke me up in the morning and I was excited about. But then it happens sometimes in life that your dream job or the thing that you think is going to give you fulfillment suddenly doesn't give you fulfillment anymore. And at the end of my 4 year tenure as a state prosecutor, I was highly paranoid. I masculinized myself a lot simply because I was dealing with male defense attorneys. I was in the male-dominated environment, and sometimes it's just one sole prosecutor prosecuting sometimes up to 8 men, accused men. So I started to see that I was placing a mask on myself. And then the untimely assassination of my mentor, Miss Dana Sitahal, Queen's Counsel, is what really pulled the rug from under my feet. And I say this because when you operate in a system that you have so much great intentions for, but the system is not working for you, you start to recognize where you are on the ladder of progress and on the ladder of hope. And I started to see that I had such big dreams for impact, for purpose, for touching my community, but I was so low on the ladder. And I know that there might be somebody in here that has a desire to do some big things, and you might feel like you are so far removed from actually doing it. I get it. I was there. And it came a point where I had to make a decision for my life. And a decision for my life didn't mean that I make a decision and then I don't stick to it. It came a point in my life, and in many women's life, you will experience this, where you have to make a powerful decision for yourself, a powerful decision for your life, a powerful decision for your future. And I said to myself, I needed a tiki time out, as we say in Trinidad. And I packed my bags, I resigned from the prosecutor role, and I decided to return to what I was always good at, which was education. And I decided to make something brand new of myself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I had zero idea what the hell I was doing. But what I did know is that I was destined for more. And I knew that I needed a brand new start. So I decided to pursue education. I came to the UK. I had no friends. I had no family over here. I knew no one. I took my savings and I said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it well, because this is what is going to help me to recreate myself. In the space of 4 years, I have journeyed through academia, having recreated myself and staying in this space of education. So I went on to do my master's. in international business. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I got my master's published in a journal. And I started to realize, you are an educator. You are an intellectual. You are somebody that is going to do well in education. Stop running away from this. Stop thinking that this is not something to be proud of. You know, we tend to shame sometimes we shame people who take this course of education. And I see this a lot in the Caribbean region. And I struggled with it, especially as a teen and then going into law school. I was always that girl that was very pretty, always a vibe, but I was in the library on a weekend. You know, I was that person. And sometimes it was very difficult to explain my love for books. And by the time I was finished with my master's, I said to myself, this is where I'm supposed to be. So I decided to launch myself into academia. And I sent out some applications, again, just trusting my strengths, trusting what I was good at. And honey, the doors flung open for me. I got offered 4 scholarships for my PhD, and then I decided to settle on London at King's College. During that 4-year stint, no one told me that in recreating yourself, you're also going to struggle along the way and have sometimes the same struggles that you had when you first started your career. So I had to deal with things like gender bias, institutional racism, being overlooked, being in a community where it was predominantly white and you don't have any minorities. I remembered when I walked into the PhD room, I was the only Black woman doing a doctorate, and there were no Caribbean nationals. And I said to myself, what is going on? I felt so lost. But I recognized that this was my opportunity. This was my opportunity to recreate myself and recreate myself on my terms. So I didn't take my minority status and victimize myself. I took my minority status and I celebrated myself. I took my minority status and I advocated for the change that I wanted to see. I took my minority status and I inserted myself into every single opportunity I could find, because I am going to be so excellent that you can no longer overlook me. That was truly what I came here to do. I came here to change the Black narrative. I have come here to change Caribbean narrative, and I'm here to show you Caribbean excellence. And I spent so much of my time in that 4 years really doing that and focusing on taking up space. And in that period of time, I was then chosen by the Dean of the Business School to sit on the Advisory Council, where I advised on how to become a more inclusive university as a top 25 university in the world. I also worked as a career advisor, helping people like myself career transition. And this is where my business Alpha Suit was sparked. So again, a woman not really knowing what she's doing, but allowing life to unfold and walking in my strength. I no longer allowed the community, the society, the man down the road, the neighbor next door to tell me what I did well. And I think that is something so important I want people in here to know. You know your strength. Don't let nobody come and grab that from you and steal that away from you. You know it. Stand in it. Stand in it and pour your all and give your all to it. So once I started to realize that I had a story and I had something to share and I had a blueprint that I can share with other people who wanted to go bravely like myself, is when I created my career and coaching business, Alpha Suit. We launched Alpha Suit in 2018. It's going to turn 3 in August. And so far I have served 5,000 clients as a one-woman show. And I say this because I stood in my strengths. I stood in research, I stood in my truth, and I didn't back down. And anytime anyone wants to tell you that you don't have a seat at the table, well, honey, you pull your tools out and build your own table. Because in the Caribbean, we got a lot of trees. So we're going to make that table. right? So, you know, it is just having that grit, that gut, that grace, and not backing down. Every single time that I got a no, every single time that I got a pushback, I knew that I was closer to exactly where I needed to be. What I want to say to anybody in here, you know you're on to something, you know you're destined for something great, you're ready to launch yourself. I want to ask you this. Are you, the dreamer, willing to be laughed at? Are you willing to be criticized? Are you willing to be scrutinized? Are you willing to have your back up against a wall and people gossip about you? Are you willing? The dreamer must be ready to go through the fire in order to protect your dreams. So I was like, do me as you wish, but I am no longer going back to where I was before. I am not going to allow a society, a profession, or a field take the rug from under me again. Never will that happen again. And this is why it was so important for me to stand in my power and to go bravely. So my mantra in life is go bravely. It is my mantra. And I live by this mantra because in order for you to honor the God inside of you, you got to be brave. This world is a very harsh world. As a woman in particular, we are constantly diluting ourselves, diluting yourselves because you're fitting into spaces that you don't belong in. And if it is you're realizing that you're creating this habit for yourself, beloved, stop for a moment and ask yourself, am I honoring me? Am I honoring what I am here to gift to this world? Am I truly standing in my power? And if the answer is no, then tap into your magic. There is magic inside of you. Do not ever forget that. Because we start in this life with a full cup, but the world will continue to take and take and take from you until you decide one day, you know what? I am the gatekeeper of this cup of water, and you ain't gonna keep drinking from it. So my testimony is really for you to stand in your power, to go bravely, to keep a yes for you. You give a yes to so many people. Keep a yes for you. Keep a no for you as well too. And most importantly, go bravely. Give thanks.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of that insight, Shelly. Dr. Shelly. I see that we actually have some questions in the chat already, so I will not keep our audience waiting. I see here we have one that says, what advice would you give to someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours? So each person, because everyone is in a different industry, can take a chance to speak on that. So Leah, if you'd like to start off by answering, what advice would you give to someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
Which career? Let's start with that. But
Right.
I would say, I would say you have to tap into your particular talents. Not to necessarily pursue a career like mine, but pursue a career that is uniquely yours, right? So tap into exactly what it is that you were brought here to do. And I think by doing that, you have to ask yourself questions. What is it that you're good at? What is it that you feel drawn to? What is it that you feel repulsed by? And those things will help you determine your values. Those things will help you determine your beliefs. And then once you find one thing or a couple of things, explore that. And I encourage people. I come from a background of, I'm multifaceted. I've done many careers, multiple careers. I'm a slasher, a professional slasher, right? And I would encourage anybody to explore the slashes in your life because it later informs you what you're meant to do. You will find by walking those particular paths what you are drawn to, whether it's something that you want to continue pursuing or whether it's something you need to evolve from. So my answer to that would be to tap into what is it that you feel drawn to. And then, as Shelly is here and Dr. Shelly-Ann always encourages, pursue the education behind that. If that is, whether it's a degree, whether, is wanting to become a lawyer, educate yourself, continuously be a student of life, and follow that path, and life will continue to unfold for you. Tap into your center. That way you can listen and hear what life is trying to show you, see where life is trying to guide you, and life will continue to unfold for you. And like Kandi said, follow your intuition.
I'm not hearing you, Kerra.
Oops. Thank you so much, Leah. Kandi, what advice would you give?
I think because my industry is a male-dominated field, women are easy targets. So I would say thicken your skin if you're going to do anything in this space, because you will be picked on. But also, you have to take up space. So for that, you need thick skin. People are going to come at you. In this industry, especially for Carnival, when you're working behind the scenes, anybody who works behind the scenes at Carnival knows that masqueraders are never the nicest people, especially in distribution. If something is wrong with the costume, even just the customer service, the back and forth, even prior to all of those things. So I would just say thicken your skin and get ready to really overcome some challenges in that way.
Great, thank you. And Dr. Shelly?
Yes. So I would say dream big and get out of your goddamn way. Get out of your way. Get out of your way. And here is why I say get out of your way. We exist in a world where we are going to always have naysayers. We're going to always have negative people, toxic people. Listen, the world is one of coexistence. You can't keep coexisting on somebody else's drum, on the tick of their watch. No. So we have to learn how to manage coexistence and how to do our thing in the process. And you not wanting to take a leap, take a chance, take a try, is not because of the person who negative. It's because you have taken that label and assigned it to you. You have taken their story, what they believe about you, and you've now immersed yourself in that, and now you are thinking in this lower vibrational state as they are. Their negative projections is not yours. Get out of your own way. Lean into what you know you're here to do. Delve deeply into it. Dream big and just go for it. Get out of your way. Forget what people have to say. Listen, people gonna keep saying stuff. That is just how we exist in this world. Everybody and the dog down the road have an opinion. Get out of your way.
Get out of your way. Yes, tell them, preach. I love this question, actually. So, what aspect of your Caribbean upbringing do you think is the key to your success thus far? Does anyone want to go first?
I will go first. I will have to say my discipline. I think growing up in a Caribbean household, we have things to do. We have chores. We have to be outside at a certain time. Well, I know this is what my household was like, to be taken to school. I grew up in a very timely household. We had to respect time. That was a big theme for us all the time. And I uphold that to this day. And that level of discipline, I think, has really helped me in business. So if it's one thing I think my upbringing has taught me, is to be disciplined. So that's me.
Thank you very much.
I would
Go ahead,
say, for
Leah.
me, my Caribbean upbringing has taught me adaptability. I think adaptability is my superpower. If I can find one, and that's because things in the Caribbean, you have to bridge gaps, right? Opportunities are not necessarily always available for us, especially for me as a model in the profession as a model. I live in Hollywood now, and I've lived in South Africa, and I've lived in other places. And the one thing that has carried me through is understanding that there's always a way, right? I definitely learned that from living in Trinidad and Tobago. There is always a way. and you can overcome anything that is going to be that is thrown at you. Any obstacle can be overcome. So, and possibility, I lived a life of possibility because I didn't grow up in a home. I didn't grow up with with opportunity. I grew up in a single parent home, which meant a lot of things financially. I also did not necessarily, I lived a lot of my life out in the world by myself. And so I think having that background of knowing how to bridge the gap, knowing how to be flexible, knowing how to relate to different people from different walks of life has definitely helped me out in this great big world.
Thank you, Leah. And Dr. Shelly-Ann?
Yes, I would say definitely our warm disposition. The fact that we don't take ourselves too seriously. I think this has really helped me, especially navigating higher education. Honey, when you pass through some of these classrooms, these professors, sometimes they could be so stuffy, especially as a young Caribbean woman, in this space of academia, giving a light joke, coming in with a radiance, putting on some colors on. I think just the essence, the Caribbean essence of what we present as smiles and just, lightheartedness is what has really carried me through a space that can be very stuffy and has allowed me to stay very authentic as well.
Yes, I love these answers. And what do you wish you had known 10 years ago? So I guess what piece of advice would you give to those, or, what do you really wish that somebody told you back then that would have made a significant difference to you guys?
I really want to say, I wish someone would have talked about the use of alcohol and how detrimental that can be to our young people, and how that can steal a lot of your time, a lot of your memories. It can steal your youth. It can break up relationships. I think we have an excellent culture of rum and soca, and we are a vibrant culture and community where we celebrate getting loose and enjoying ourselves. But I think we need to be a bit more responsible when it comes to how our youth are using alcohol. And I say this because I feel that when I was in law school in particular, I spent a lot of time partying, a lot of time drinking. When I look back on it, and I look back at sometimes at the pictures, I'm like, wow, girl, you were stoned. And I wish somebody would have just said, there's so much to life than just buying bottles all the time. And I know that this is a very taboo thing, but yes, I said it.
We respect it. Leah, what do you wish someone had told you 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
I think it would be that who I am is enough. I think that as a young girl, I feel like we need to hear that more often, our young women, that who you come into this world as, with your lankiness, you might be taller than everybody else, all of that is enough. I spent a long time journey in this world running from myself, because I felt I was struggling with that sense of belonging and feeling like enough, which on the face of it, you wouldn't think so, but that really was it. And it's because I didn't have enough people pouring into me to let me know on a personal level, that everything that you are, everything that you come with is God-given. And because it is God-given, it is enough.
Yeah, I'm right there with Leah. I was going to say a similar answer, because for me, I've followed a very non-traditional career path, and even in my younger years, so about 10 years ago, telling my parents that I'm pursuing something in Carnival did not sound like a career. And I wish I followed that a little more strongly at that time, because I would have still not seen it as enough because of those influences. So I wish that I recognized that I was enough and what my intuition was telling me to do, which was to follow this niche. which I ended up doing anyway. But I wish that I knew at the time that it would have been enough. It didn't feel like enough when I first started.
Thank you. So we'll take 2 more questions. I see one here. We've seen so many recent instances where top athletes are speaking out on their mental health, especially in the Caribbean. There is a stigma in these types of issues. How might we change that? That's a very good question, actually. Shelly, do you want to go ahead with the first response?
Yeah, I would definitely go ahead with this, because this is a bit in my space, especially as a performance coach and somebody that works with people's mindsets. I think the first thing about this point regarding mental health is to accept that it's a taboo topic and it hasn't been talked about in our homes to begin with. Right. And I think it's because we as Caribbean people have always focused on being strong, being resilient, having thick skin, being able to get up the next day and act like everything is normal. And actually that is ingrained in us. And we see a lot of our workplace, the home, friendships, a lot of it is perpetuated as we continue into childhood, into adulthood. So we're seeing instances where people are breaking, but they would not ask for help. And I think that is a huge problem that we have, the inability to ask for help. But where we come in terms of how we can make a change around this is we need to not wait for people to verbalize these things. Sometimes it is just a feeling that you can get. Sometimes it's just by observing somebody, you can tell that something is a little bit off, or even just the frequency in which they would get in touch with you. You're realizing that they're not getting in touch as often. That's where we truly come in. And I think it is for us to no longer expect people to verbalize. And we tend to say this all the time in Caribbean, well, you didn't ask. We love to say that. And sometimes these things are so difficult that people don't want to ask. We have hotlines and people don't call hotlines. And you have to, like, that is how deep and embarrassing and ashamed a lot of people feel in that space. So for us, to change this narrative, we have to really activate our emotional intelligence more as a community, as a society, and truly be our brother's keeper, and not expect that everything is going to be said. But sometimes it's like what people say about disability, that sometimes a disability isn't always seen. And it's the same thing with mental health. It isn't always seen, but if you feel like there is something that you need to say or you need to reach out to someone, then do that. We need to truly activate our activism around this.
I agree with that 100%. Leah, would you like to chime in on this?
I think that was so beautifully said, and I would just add on top of that, I would encourage us to talk. Exactly what we're doing here, exactly what I've been trying to do via Life and Lemonade TV, where I have a podcast where people share their truths, and that's how it started for me. It started with me sharing my truth, because before I used to be terrified. I felt like I had to always appear intact. I was representing my country. I had to look a particular way. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. And even now, I mean, it terrifies me now sometimes to talk about it. But like sharing stories of me sharing my story might inspire someone else to share their story. Me talking openly, and I've seen examples in my life. Me talking openly invites people to now share with me, and you create these little safe spaces along the way. And the more we talk, the more we raise our self-awareness, the more we connect with ourselves, the more that we could connect to other people. So yes, I would say definitely, I would encourage people to talk more and to raise their self-awareness.
Thank you, Leah. And Kandi. Oh, I think you're on mute. 1 second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say that I agree with the ladies and everything that they said a while ago, but I would just say find your person. That does not have to mean a significant other. That could just mean a friend. But mental health is like It's almost like a little buzzword these days that everybody is using, but it's a really, really important thing that we have to take care of and look after. I myself, like I said, I'm still navigating this new space that I'm in with motherhood. And I have had to find people outside of my household to confide in and to ask questions and to talk and to vent because it's hard. And that's just the reality. But just like they said, talking about it really, really helps. So just agreeing with them and saying that, yeah, just find one person, whoever that is, just find one person and talk to them about it.
Thank you so much. And I have a question for you, ladies. So there's been an increasing awareness of how vulnerable women are in the Caribbean and our acceptance of sexual harassment or inappropriate male attention as part of the culture. How do we drive real change when it comes to this? I'll go with Dr. Shelly.
Yes. How do we drive real change around the sexualization of the woman? I think the first thing is we need more sex education in schools, right? We're relying on the mother, we're relying on the home to teach sex education. And a lot of times babies are making babies. A lot of times a woman who is now a mother may not have been exposed to sex education, so she doesn't even know where to start to educate her child on sex education. So there's a high responsibility where institutions are concerned, and this is where I love to see NGOs come in, social enterprises. They are here to make change. Social enterprises are here to really make a difference in the space where institutions are not showing up. So if you have a community group, if you have nonprofit organizations that are going to take on this mantle and decide to teach this, I think it's excellent. But the first thing I would say is definitely more sex education. The other thing that I would say as well, too, is that we talk so much about the woman and we're not talking enough about the man. We're not talking enough about the man and the patriarchal system that has continuously been perpetuated since colonialism. So what I think we should be focusing on is a harmonious balance between how we respect women and also how men respect women and vice versa. Because too many times we're having these conversations with gender in separate silos. And then when we come together, we don't know how to coexist. And I think that is all part of sex education as well, bringing the two genders together and having conversations about what are my boundaries, what are the things I like, what are the things I don't like. And that is how we're going to be able to cultivate a culture that is respectful of each sector. And even when we come to transsexuals as well, homosexuals, all of these things fall under sex education and sexual harassment. But I think the way that we've been approaching it for the longest time has been a very siloed conversation. So woman, I'm not here to tell you, oh, well, you need to dress better and this and that. Listen, a woman can be whatever she wants to be. But I think we as a society as well, too, need to step up and recognize that we are perpetuating a patriarchal system that hasn't been working for us and continues to see the sufferation of women. And that needs to change. And if our institutions are not going to do it, then you, me, and everybody else, we need to come together and we need to start talking more about these things and how we can bring men into these conversations as well.
That was very, very well said. Thank you so much. And we really need to explore that. So Dr. Shelly, we can definitely have this conversation after and, maybe bring some men on board and have these public conversations because they also need to participate in this as well. I'm not sure if Kandi or Leah wanted to say anything else regarding that topic.
I just wanted to add that we should, everything that Shelly said, absolutely yes, but we all need to be accountable, every single one of us, because we are the same people. When I'm driving on the road and somebody does bad drive me, I am screaming expletives or whatever at them. We all need to hold ourselves accountable for our own behaviors because it starts with us. So, it's not something that is exclusive to men. In that way, I just think that it starts in the home and we all need to hold ourselves to a higher standard where that is concerned.
Thank you. And Leah?
Yes, they so beautifully covered by Shelly and also Kandi. I would just add that we need to be more conscious of the way we value ourselves, both men and women, and then value each other. And we hold very loose boundaries sometimes in our society as to what is fun and what can pass, especially in a carnival culture, and a party culture. And I think we need to tighten up what those boundaries are. And that accountability, as Kandi said, starts in the home. But beyond that, we need to hold our broadcast and our media, or broadcast companies and our media accountable. The messages that you send out via the radio station, via the TV, via our music, those things are so very important. They seep into the psyche of a society, and they either drive us forward or they keep us in this very stagnant place. And so, just to add that on top of what these two girls said, I think that's the way we have to go.
Yes, thank you, ladies, so much for sharing that. And the last questions. Sometimes as we were blooming, you no longer resonate with your friends, the environment, people that once made you happy. Did any of you experience that, and how did you deal with that? I see Leah shaking her head over there. I'm going to come straight to you, Leah.
Oh man, I feel like that is when you know. That is when you know that you're evolving. It's par for the course, you move away from your old self. You don't resonate with things or people. But I always say have grace. Grace is so very important. You are on your journey. Your journey is individual to you. You keep going in the direction that you're going. And if you have to leave some people behind, then make peace with that. Maybe they will meet you and catch up with you later, but you have grace for them wherever they're at. But honor your truth, honor yourself. Understand that where you're going, everybody cannot go with you. It's just the reality. And that is painful. That's a painful reality to accept. It's a painful truth to bear as well. Understand that guilt and shame hold no space in your journey as well. They're unproductive. So let go of guilt, the guilt of not carrying people with you, or the guilt of separating yourself. But know that you can move in your journey, you can move in your truth without having to be mean, without having to be disrespectful. You can do it all in love and with grace. So that was definitely something that was part of my life. It continues to be a part of my life, at every stage of the way. But I extend love and I extend grace to those people who cannot come with me, and maybe they will meet me later down in life.
Thank you so much. And Kandi.
I think when you're ascending, just like Leah said, everybody can't come, right? But there is something that's kind of weird that's happening with me now in motherhood, where I want all my friends in the same way that I had them before, but I don't have the time, or I just don't have it right now, because I'm a mom and I'm a full-time mom. On top of that, I don't really have a nanny or anything right now. It's just all me. So I'm really busy. And so I'm navigating almost like the opposite now, where like I'm missing that. I'm actually missing my friends and the relationships that we used to have and how we used to hang out. And I mean, the pandemic has played a role in that as well, but also motherhood. So I'm still navigating that space. I am not an expert on how to take that next step yet. I'm still figuring that part out. But for me, the steps that I have taken, I would just say never burn any bridges. Don't ever burn any bridges, because you never know where you're going to buck them up again.
Amen to that. And Dr. Shelly?
Yes. So for the person that asked this question, I just want to say that is a natural course of you growing. I think as humans, our existence is to evolve. Our existence is to grow. Some people grow faster than others. Some people grow very slowly. But it is a natural part of the journey. And it's just like, knowing that no two flowers bloom at the same time. I think when it comes to this feeling of disconnection with what you once felt was familiar. I'd agree with Kandi, what she said about not burning bridges. I think the most important thing is if this bridge is no longer a bridge that you want to cross, and it's no longer a relationship or a space that is breathing life into you, the most important thing is to just give love to that space. Give love to that space and, to gracefully exit if it is you need to. But to also remember that sometimes with growth, we can become a bit fanatical. Let's be honest, we can get a little fanatical with our growth, and we can we can also sever relationships, not even realizing that we're doing it. And it's because you get to this place of intolerance where you no longer accept people that are not on the same level as you. And I think we need to have a little bit more compassion when we are growing, because we must realize that even if these people are not where we want them to be, or they're not in that space with us anymore, they have served us. They have given us life. They have given us laughs. They have given us good times. So it is always to honor what that person did for you in that period of time, and to also give them compassion, and you be the light. As I grew and I started to change and lean more into myself, I realized that I shall be the change that I want to see, and I will be the beacon. I will be the light, so that my light will overflow onto other people, and my light will help people to see themselves and see where they are, see their darkness, see what needs to change. So you are instrumental in that person's journey, even if you're not connecting with them. You're helping them to see themselves. So just be compassionate through it all is what I'll say.
Always on mute. Before we wrap up, I have one more special message for the ladies on the panel, as well as the audience, from a very special human being.
Hey everyone, this is DJ Private Ryan. I want to say a special happy 3rd year anniversary to the Caribbean Women's Network. Big respect to Kerra and all that she does for the Caribbean women across the world, who are spread all over the place doing great and wonderful things. So I want to say that we applaud you women, we salute you women, we appreciate you women, and we also welcome you as you sit at the table of greatness, as plenty of the women across the Caribbean are doing great and wonderful things in whatever job, whatever walks of life, whatever class, age range, they're all represented. And I want to say a special salute to you. Keep persevering. Don't let anything get you down. We love you all. I want to say a special shout out to 3 of my friends on the panel as well, Kandi, Leah, and Shelly. Hello, first of all. Hope you all are well. And also salute to you all for doing great and wonderful things for women and representing very, very, very well for the Caribbean. Not just for the women, but for us as a people. So thank you. Salute to you.
I mean, I don't think I could have said it better. So shout out to DJ Puffy, Jazzy T, and DJ Private Ryan for sending a little extra love for the ladies. I think it's very important that messages like these are heard. They may not say it as often as we would like, but it's important for them to share that with the world. So thank you guys so much. And ladies, so you are standing in your light, you are owning your power, you are breaking barriers, and you are just being absolutely phenomenal. I want to know, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh, I can see this, because this is what I teach my clients, my coaching clients. It's all about legacy. So I have this answer in my back pocket. I was ready for this. But my legacy is to be remembered as a woman that went bravely. That a woman that woke up every single day and chose herself, chose the God inside of her, chose her purpose, flew that flag very high, and represented as a Black Caribbean woman doing her thing and going bravely and being unapologetically herself.
Yes.
What she said.
Yes. Kandi.
What Shelly said. No. But I think I want to be remembered as the person who went for it in my own space and in my own way. But I also want to encourage and hope that my legacy is to encourage the non-traditional. And I want other girls and boys and anybody to just know that whatever the path that is meant for you, you can do it. You can walk that path very confidently, no matter who is in your corner, even if it is you alone.
Yes. And Leah. I just want to be remembered for my glow.
This LA sunlight. No, for me, it's important that I'm remembered as a woman who walked in spirit and truth. And my only hope is that I impact people's lives positively by the way that I lived my life and the character that I led my life with. That people believe in possibility and that they themselves are enough just as they are.
All very beautiful messages. Well, ladies, this wraps up.
Kerra, before you leave, what do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for?
Yes.
I want to be remembered for doing everything that I love and doing it with love. That's really it. I love love. I love to share love. I love to give love. I love being love. And I would like to be remembered as just a vessel of love, really. I believe that, that is my purpose. And I pray that that is what I am remembered by.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you, ladies. This was amazing. Beyond words. The comments, I'm just seeing them coming down left, right, and center. Ladies saying that they really appreciate the transparency, just everything that you guys had to share. So it's safe to say that we did what we set out to do. We wanted to come on here and share these stories as an advice, as inspiration to others. And I can safely say that we were able to do that. Shelly, I know that you stayed up. It's 2 a.m. in London.
Yes, it's 2 a.m. in London, but I had to be present for this. I want to give a special shout out to my mama, Anne-Marie Gajadhar, who is all the way in Trinidad and looking at this. I have not seen my mom in about a year and a half.
Oh.
So, Mama, I send you so much love and thank you for supporting me tonight.
Yes, shout out to the moms. My mom is in heaven. This brand represents her legacy. So she's here with us every day. But thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your truth. Thank you for holding space with me. This was just phenomenal. My pores are raised. I am inspired. I am empowered. I was having a little bit of a rough week, but I'm definitely ready to go back out there and take on the world and just own my truth and stand in my light, as you guys say. And as Dr. Shelly-Ann says, I'm ready to just continue to go bravely. We have 6 months left in the year. And I hope everyone that's watching, I hope this panel, empowered you and you're ready to just take control of your life, take control of your purpose, and just fulfill your passion. Anything that you guys want to do, you're capable of doing it. I say this all the time. It may sound cliche, but it is what it is. God instills in you purpose and passion. Listen to it and follow it. But again, ladies, you are just incredible. Thank you, Kandi in Jamaica. I know Chorus is probably like, where's my mommy?
She went to sleep finally. It's okay.
And Leah, I know that you have a super busy schedule as well. It's probably like 6 p.m. there. And I know you're always on the move as well. So thank you, ladies, for holding the space with me. I am excited for the future. The future is bright. It's going to be amazing. And I wish you guys nothing but success. Sending you guys so much love. I see DJ Private Ryan in the chat saying big respect to the women. Thank you again, Ryan, for showing that love. It was all smiles from the ladies. I can definitely say that. But again, thank you everyone for watching. Please follow the ladies. You can check me out on Instagram at Kerra Denel. All of their tags are on my page. You can just go on there. It's at Leah Marville, at Dr. Shelly-Ann, and at King Kandi. And don't forget to, of course, check out Caribbean Women's Network. I just launched a new website, CaribbeanWomensNetwork.org. Yes, 3 years later, new website, new logo, new brand, but same purpose. We are here to uplift and empower Caribbean women, celebrate, connect, collaborate. So again, thank you, ladies, so much. Sending you so much love and have a blessed evening, night, and I'll see you girls soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.